Let's talk. Oh my goodness. So many of y'all know that I was hardcore conservative, like hardcore, okay? This hat right now, this is my MAGA hat. This was originally signed by Donald Trump himself, okay? Make America Great Again. And it went to a point where the party started to go left. And we started to see the Caitlyn Jenners. We started to see, Rob Bushy Smith. We started to see the Walkaway campaign. We started to see, Scott Pressler and all these other, people who were, part of the LGBT. Now, as a Christian conservative, we view that as sin. We view that as sin, and you should turn away and repent or face, eternal damnation.
Damn.
When the party started to go that route, it became, it disenfranchised a lot of people. You combine that with the hypocrisy, where we have Ashley Babbitt, who was a hero, and then Breonna Taylor, who they deemed as a criminal. So we combine a lot of issues, all right, that I had with the Republican Party. This then leads to Trump losing and Biden winning. So at that point, new hat, new person, and we go down this route of pro-black, okay? Spend 4 years going into pro-black. What does that actually mean? Long story short, pro-black doesn't really mean anything because there's no consistent definition that is shared with all black people or even a majority of black people. So it's just a word that black people like to say to make ourselves feel good and hoorah. After some time of going into pro-black media, learning about pro-black content, doing some literature, I've come to the realization, and many people aren't going to like this. You're not going to like this conclusion, but the conclusion is that currently, the state where black Americans are in, black Americans are a failed race of people in this country.
Huh?
And it's primarily due to, I'll say, self-inflicted wounds, but also due to America, or what some would consider white supremacy. I know it's a played out term, cringe for a lot of people, but that's a conclusion I've come to. I say that not just off the top of my head, just as I said, from consuming a lot of content. I've consumed, the Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, Philip Scott, a litany of other pro-black channels per se. And when it comes to a lot of literature, I would say I have probably read more than most black people, or, that profess to have read or well read in the area. And these were all recommendations to me. The Destruction of Black Civilization. Whoo! That's powerful. We have, obviously Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth. Powernomics, okay? Powernomics, a great one. We have, a classic, the ISIS papers, okay? The list goes on. This is only a handful of books. The rest are in the library. And a lot of it just came to a certain conclusion that when it comes to black people, what we need to do is we have to kill the Batman. I'm joking. For those of you who got what I was saying, you get it. At the end of the day, what everyone needs to understand is that America was founded and created for white people. It just is what it is. I know a lot of black people want to say, oh, we founded this country. We FBA, we foundational to the country and all that. I hear you, but you founded it, right? You built it for white people, okay? With those homes that you were building them for communities that you would not even be allowed to enter. All right. Those diners, right, that you were building diners for seats that you would not be allowed to sit in. Okay. So I get that you built it. I get that you want to say you had a hand in it and everything, but it was built for white people, not black people. Okay. Even if you look at the Constitution, when it comes to life, liberty, and pursuit of property, we were the property. Okay. We weren't allowed to get property in many cases. That's the fact of the matter. And with this information and the pro-black, literature and the history of this country and looking at the pro-black channels and everything, it's an understanding that one of the two biggest downfalls of black people is going to be hope and it's going to be pride. And that is, in a nutshell, I would argue, is a detriment to the collective. When we look at hope, there's always this belief that, hey, right, even though the country was built for white people, that they've always been embracing. They've always tried to assimilate and include black people, okay? That, that black people have always had this hope that I hope the country does this. I hope we get reparations. I hope they allow me to sit at the luncheon next to the nice white person. I hope, that, they do right in the court system, that the judge finds me innocent and understands this was a trap. I hope that the officer knows that I'm not a threat and I don't have a gun on me and all that, right? This constant hope that black people have. You combine this with a sense of pride, and it's a pride that's unfounded, because we have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of the pride that many black people have, it's not pride off of what we've done, right? It's not pride off of what, they themselves have done. It's pride off of the backs of their ancestors. And unfortunately, the same pride that our ancestors have was well-deserved, because they were making things possible. They were making things happen. That they didn't conflate what many of us conflate right now, which is progress for movement. Due to that, that's why we have remained stagnant. That's why we are at the bottom of the totem pole in this country, is that we have pride on stuff that we haven't done. We have pride on things that we didn't promote. We have pride on a group of people that we don't even know. Okay, I know many people want to talk about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all these, freedom fighters and everything. You don't know these people, okay? That you haven't read their autobiographies, you don't know anything about them. But you have pride that you come from that lineage, right? That is my lineage, so I have pride. But you haven't done anything. You yourself haven't done anything. You, as a collective, currently right now in modern times, haven't done anything. You've made no progress. You don't have reparations. The wealth gap isn't ended. Black women still, being, killed in the hospitals. Black men still incarcerated, high rates of crime rates. So there's a litany of things that are still problematic. But that sense of pride and hope. Now, pride and hope is not in and of itself a bad thing, but that pride and hope has led to inaction. And has led to paralysis via analysis, where you have all these black people, whether it's online, whether it's on the internet, Twitter, whatever, who have all of this analysis of how this is what black people are owed. This is what white supremacy has done. This is what's going on. But there's no action. There's no action in play. Okay? And all the people who are consuming this content are hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Black power, right? Black pride, pro-black. And the perfect example of this, I would say the amalgamation of everything I'm saying would be, case in point, most recently, a lot of these reparation rallies. These reparation rallies are the perfect marriage of hope and pride. You have hope. Hey, we're going to get reparations, okay? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then we have pride. Well, it's because it's owed to us, all right? It's owed to us, the 40 acres and a mule. But what do you have? Nothing. There is no progress many of these rallies have done. They haven't made any progress. Many of these talking heads that they consider to be pro-black will just simply say, black stuff, right? Black people this, black people that, but there is no action behind it. There's no movement, okay? Because we don't want to conflate action with movement and then conflate that with progress. Because that's what unfortunately what's happened. So there is no movement behind that. And opening another DVD that comes out, all right? Another movie that comes out, another useless building that is erected, doesn't do anything. It doesn't move us closer to empowerment, doesn't move us closer to reparations, it doesn't move us closer to anything. And a lot of what is said in these books that they constantly want to promote and profess. Oh, you need to know about Dr. Claude Anderson, Lucas. Oh, you need to know about Dr. Francis Welsing. You need to read that. Oh, you need to know about it. They themselves haven't read it. And furthermore, they themselves haven't implemented what's in these books. They haven't done it.
He's out of line, but he's right.
So what this is allowed for is a lot of leeches. What this is allowed for is a lot of grifters and hustlers within the community, because they're wise enough to know where the community is going, but they're also not dumb enough to betray the community. So what they do is they try to extract resources from the community for their own, to line up their own pockets. And that's unfortunately what the community has become. And because there is no outside help in the community, once again stemming from, hey, this country was built for white people, that's what it was built for, you have to understand that even when it comes to Democrats or Republicans, no matter what they say, it may be a little more overt with Republicans, but no matter what, the white liberal says, that they don't want to be a minority in their own country. That's what they don't want to be, okay? They don't want to do that. And you have to understand how humiliating, how degrading it would be for them to have to pander and cater to blacks or Latinos in order to get a vote. That's not what they want. And even when they say it on the left, you can look at the positions of power that they hold. The positions of power is overwhelmingly white, It's not black, it's not Latino, it's white. Now, there may be some diversity in there, here and there, but very much they are in agreement when it comes to the elites of the Republican and Democrat that, hey, this is a white country. That when it comes to Republicans, they very much want to keep it that way. They want to reinforce that. So when going back to black people, to quote the late Andrew Breitbart, politics is a downstream of culture. Then we get into culture for Black America. What is culture for Black America? What many people fail to understand is that much of the culture that is promoted and touted currently is really the invention of white Jews and non-white Jews. And I don't mean that in any type of disparaging way towards, Jewish people, Shabbat Shalom, but that's what it is. And it's created for their financial gain. That's what it is. It's not created for the benefit of the country. It's not created for the benefit of black people. It's created to make a profit. In a capitalist society, that is the goal. It's to turn a profit. And if we understand that there is a certain animus historically and even presently regarding a certain group of people, well, then obviously that makes them the perfect fodder for experimentation. That has been, in the past and currently presently. And when I say that the black race currently right now in the state it is a failed race. And I say partially due to self-inflicted wounds, is that partially it is due to self-inflicted wounds. That we look at the culture right now. There is nothing that's promoting as far as civics, as far as you understanding how the government is ran. In many cases, you have many of these black people are talking about, oh, we got to work outside the government. Oh, we got to work, in the forest. Okay, we got to build ourselves together and do our things ourselves. But if you look at the action, like I said, the movement, they're conflating movement with progress. Even with them saying that, there is no movement to reach that goal, which means it's not progress. It's just movement. You're just going around in circles because there is no organizing. There's no mobility towards a certain outcome. It's just black people saying black stuff. Pro-black this, white supremacy, this and that, buy my shirt, do this, this is a racist. That's all it is. So it's really a Tower of Babel, which is going to lead to the destruction, the inevitable destruction, if we keep going this trajectory of the black race. But at the end of the day, no one cares because everyone is going to feed off of our carcass as a vulture, as, has been done in the past and was going to be done presently. They don't, if you think any other race of people, white people have grown sick and tired. Asian people grown sick and tired. Latinos grown sick and tired. So the last thing they want to hear is black people complain about, I don't have reparations. Oh, I don't have this. What about the wealth gap? They don't care. And until that comes into black people's heads, and I don't see by any means that's going to facilitate that message to enter, it's going to be extinction. It just is what it is. One thing you have to understand is that a coon is only a coon via comparison. That as in the Incredibles, if everyone is super, no one is. If everyone's a coon, then no one is. So you have to understand that's going to be the new standard. So, that is what I've gathered from these 4 years is that there is no future. There is no shining hill. There is no Wakanda that many people have hope and have pride for because there is no action. There is no movement towards that shining hill, towards that future. There is no progress. So at the end of the day, you have those within the community who are going to eat the community. They're going to devour their own. And then you have those outside of the community and the collective that are going to devour the collective. So there is no W here. There is no win here. Now you can say this is hey, this is negative energy. I don't want this. Hey, you're being right. But I would say once again, that's a hope. It's that hope in the back of your head that is like, hey, that's not going to happen up until it does happen. I'm just a messenger in all this. I'm just telling you what I've experienced being in these groups, being in these discussions, being in these conversations, that it's all a big joke. That's what it is. It's all a big joke. That everything that I was saying when I was hardcore Republican and people were saying that I was a coon and I was a Sambo, you have many of these pro-black channels who are saying the same exact thing. You have many of these pro-black channels who are now talking about, Trump, that they're happy that Trump won. That, hey, this is going to teach the Democrats. So it all goes full circle, that I was originally right. You may not have liked the way that I said things, but at the end of the day, that's the truth. The truth hurts. until there is a reckoning, and I don't think it's going to happen in my generation. I think maybe long past and I'm dead, either black people, the future is going to be, you're going to still be in chains, okay? You're going to be in chains, mental chains, albeit, or you're going to be extinct. That there's only going to be a handful of black people. That's the only future that I see it based on the trajectory that we're heading. It just is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's the video. That really is. I don't care for those who may disagree, because I think a lot of those disagreements are stemmed and rooted in hope and pride. There are no facts behind many of these disagreements. They're just feelings. That's what they have, conditioned black people to be. Nothing but feeling machines. Well, I feel that's not right. Well, I feel that's not going to happen. Well, I feel that white people wouldn't do that. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, a lot of it's self-inflicted, but a good chunk is just it being the country that we're in. Being the country that we're in, that it's so much that we've tried to detach ourselves from African brothers and sisters. That's how much of an indoctrination that many black Americans have come across, okay? And I'll say it's this belief of you being the celebrity and not the assistant celebrity. And I think that's what many black Americans, especially with the FBA movement and everything, is they believe that they're the celebrity. But in reality, you're the assistant to the celebrity. And I've seen this happen before, where you have people who think, they're the superstar. They were in the movies. It was like, no, you just happen to know the person that was in the movies. And, what's happening is that many of them are adopting much of the characteristics of said celebrity. So in this case, in America, many of them are adopting many of the said characteristics of the people that they're admiring to, or they're aspiring to, or that they're adjacent to, whether they like it or not. And that is what's happening in real time. And it's fascinating to witness, black versus black versus black versus black, while everyone else laughs and continues to rise. If you happen to disagree, nevertheless, you know where to find me. Disagreement Day. Call in, we'll duke it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys, be amazing.